Hey, niece.
Hey, Quan. Hey,
Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am. Can where Jaylen at?
You gotta bring them on in, and let me bring them in. So, good evening, good evening. We're waiting a moment for people to come in and join us. Thank y'all for joining us today. And I am just so extremely excited to be able to have the conversation that we're having. And before we even go there, I'd like to thank everybody that called, that actually text us. My grandmother had passed a couple of weeks ago. I was going to a month now. And then I just want to say I thank you and I appreciate every single one of y'all so much. Hold on one moment. Y'all, I'm so excited to have the conversation with the kids because, hey, Auntie,
I can't even see who
the kids,
joined.
they can't even see it. That's Aunt Laura.
Hey, Aunt Laura.
Hey, Aunt Laura.
So, but yes, I'm waiting, y'all. We are so excited tonight, and I'm excited and pumped up to have a conversation with the kids because surely, I'm a firm believer that you train the kids in the way that they should go, but in the way that they should go has nothing to do with what we train our kids in. The things that we do, the things that we understand, is training them into a way to where, hey, Auntie, Arlene checking in too, y'all. Auntie
Hey,
Hey,
Outlaw.
Aunt
Arlene.
Arlene.
So, but yes, y'all, come on in. We waiting, and we'll get into, I actually am really like excited to have this conversation with the kids and see what's on their mind and what do they have to say. Because surely, some people would say kids don't have much to say, but I always beg to differ. Kids have a lot to say. They have a lot to offer. They do have wisdom. Hey, Minyata, that's Minyata
Hey,
checking in.
Miata.
Tiana.
And um, but they kids do have a lot to say, and I'm always going to be the firm believer that give them a voice to speak because I remember being a young and being a young person, and some people they bypass kids and as if kids don't have something to say, and what they have to say isn't meaningful. But I value and I'm appreciative of the people that I remember that took the time out with me as a kid to actually be able just to say hey, to actually be able to say, how you doing? Those are the times that we appreciate because, like I said, kids go through stuff just like adults go through stuff, and now it's a generation of kids that sometimes feel voiceless. So when they feel voiceless, they begin to go to people that they believe have the same understanding as them. In actuality, that's why it's so important to step back and actually make sure we are listening. Because I make sure that I'm mindful of what they have to say. Um, Now, sometimes I be like, hold up, wait a minute, we ain't finna go there today. But you got to be mindful of what they have to say because they do have something to say. And we are so excited. I'm giving you a little moment, y'all. I'm just talking right now, and we'll go into everything. And I appreciate every single one of y'all for tuning back in to Soaring Above It All with Laquanza. This is me. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay. So, again, we already just talked about that. I'm waiting a little while longer for more people to come in, y'all. And again, support the kids. Our kids are looking to us for answers, are looking to us for love. Our kids are looking to us for care. And people do this. This is a major mistake. Not just your kids. Make sure you're mindful of other people's kids too. And that's one thing God always remind me of. Daughter, remember you as a kid. Make sure that you're mindful. That's still a child. So I always got to put them into a child's place, into a child's perspective, into a child's understanding, because at the end of the day, they are kids. And it was the people who had the things to say to me that was different from what I was hearing that I began to gravitate to, and that was the positive thing. That was the encouraging things. That was the uplifting thing. And again, we're gonna go ahead and start, y'all. We thank every single one of y'all for tuning in tonight. And tonight we are going to be talking to Saniya Robinson and Jaylen Robinson. And we're gonna go ahead and I will introduce them, but I told them I want them to introduce themselves. So we're always gonna do ladies first. So Sanaya, we're gonna go ahead and start with you, and we want you to tell us about yourself. And again, this is for the next and the voices that they have to say. Some of the things that they are going through or mental, and what we say does matter. So if we can speak life into other people, why can't we look back and speak life into children also too? That is one of the things that's going to be important because what we say, y'all, I'm telling y'all, what we say matters. The words that we use with the next generation, even with our kids, even myself, have been guilty of saying things that I shouldn't have had to say it, and I had to go back and repent and have to go back and ask for forgiveness because you can't ask kids for forgiveness too. It's just a way to prevent them from walking down the same roads that you have and be bitter and bound and hurt. You prevent that by actually, you know what, I did this wrong, I did that wrong. Don't take my example, take another way. And I can tell you another way because right now I've got my mind situated on the things that are supposed to be. So again, okay, we're gonna go into this, y'all. I'm all pumped up. I'm excited, y'all. Sorry. Okay, so Saniya Robinson, we want you to be able to introduce yourself and tell everybody about who you are and something that you enjoy.
Okay. My name is Saniya Robinson. I'm 16 years old, and I go to the school called high school. I like to watch TikToks and dance and stuff.
And she's really, really smart, y'all. I was like, my niece getting her smart from her auntie. She got a 3.9. She got a small beauty from her auntie, so I'm just saying. So, Jaylen, tell us about yourself and who you are, and also something that you love to do.
I'm Jaylen Robinson. I'm 18. I go to Hillcrest High, and one thing that I love to do is I love to make things with my hands.
Okay, okay, okay. That's my son. He just turned 18, y'all. I was like, woo, we made it, Lord. We made it to 18. It was tough, but we made it. So, okay. So I want to be able to let's start with you first, Anaya. Is there anything that you can tell us that you have experienced that has been hard for you as you begin to develop into an adolescent, with adolescence is into a teenager, when you have started to become into yourself, or maybe you can go back a little bit farther. Is there some struggles or something that you experienced as a younger person that now you have an understanding of?
A lot of things I struggled when I was younger is thinking that everybody's your friend. When I was like really young, like you be hanging around a wrong cloud and stuff, your parents all give you warnings and stuff. Like that's not your friend, but then when you're young, you get mad because you don't understand what they're meaning until you're older. So now since I'm older, I have a better understanding. It's like when mama said that's not my friend, I better be cautious and no, that's not my friend because parents don't just tell you things just to tell you.
So what was there that did you experience something to the fact of you understanding that that wasn't your friend? You was like, oh, this happened or that. Can you give us an example of something? Because there could be some children that parents are listening in with them and they just let them to be able to have other tease their peers, but their peers that also are trying to live in the best light that they can. What would it be that would be an example that you would tell them that you seen, but your mama told you, but you didn't quite understand it until after the fact?
Something I didn't understand is when my
Struggle
mom,
with, sorry.
you said struggle.
Yeah, in the midst of friendship.
I struggled to like pay better attention to the signs people show you. Sometimes we like over miss those because we always be like, oh no, this person's good at this, so they wouldn't do this to you, or oh they did this and they did that, they're so good and they wouldn't do this to you, but in reality they do. And that's something I struggle with understanding in friendship.
Oh wow. Yes, because I guess when you look at it and you see people and you see people, because y'all still young people and y'all learning and developing, but trust me and believe me, your experience that you experience now is going to be pivotal when you get older. So it's always to know the signs. If somebody always feel like they got to be in a competition with you as a child, then that right there lets you know that that's always going to be a tug and a war in between y'all friendship. If somebody always feel like they gotta outbeat you or they gotta outdo you, that's always gonna be a tug of war because they actually don't have their own identity and you're actually developing who you are. So yeah, and the kids always believe that their parents, us as parents, are always in the way trying to tell them what to do. But in actuality, I didn't listen to my mama, my mama and my dad when I was young too. And I got old, I was, oh wow, you know what? They said this, they see this, and surely that's what it was. So it's so good that you could be able to um, understand it and actually see that and take it on to the next levels of your life, even though um, sometimes as young people, we cling to other people because we do want friendships. We want friendships that are meaningful because you can get in friendships with a whole bunch of people, but when you get in friendships with a whole bunch of people, that doesn't mean that they're meaningful. You get what I mean? So if I feel like if somebody brings more negativity than they do positive, now I understand the fact that every now and then there's some times where people can be negative and there's some times where people can be down, and those are the times that you be able to speak life to people and encourage them and uplift them. But if they're always bringing negativity and they're always in drama, those are some signs. And I probably was the one in the drama. I probably was the one in the drama. I got to tell the truth about my I got to tell the truth about myself. So, okay, so next, Jaylen, we're going to ask you that same question. Tell us something that is a struggle for you or that you're learning to be able to adjust to as a young person.
Uh, Mine would probably be being too friendly to people, cause like towards like the beginning, towards like sophomore and junior year, I would always be surrounded by people. I would always like be in the center of a crowd, like, and now I'm just starting to learn that most people aren't there to give good attentions to you. And since I started my senior year, I've been like kind of alone, sitting by myself and stuff like that.
So, tell me, how does it feel that you feel as though you are alone? Because I understand. I know surely, even as an adult, I do believe that we are meant for other people and people are meant for us. But sometimes, um, the relationships and the friendships that we get in with people can cause us to go into a negative way versus in a positive way. But my question to you, Jaylen, is tell us, how does it feel being a teenager and feeling the feeling of feeling alone? Because I know surely me and you and Saniya have had these conversations. I want each one of you to actually tell me what is that feeling, because I understand the fact of being alone, but in this, sometimes you have to be so mindful of your surroundings. And I wish I might have been I might have paid more attention as a kid, and then it wouldn't have been so long to be able to actually know what genuine love is, to actually know what genuine people is. And I'm not gonna tell y'all how old I was until I found until I found that. I'm not gonna tell y'all that yet. We might talk about it later. But just tell me, you know, how does it feel when you feel like everybody else is along with everybody else? Or because let me explain this too. Now, the one thing that I felt like we always have to teach every single kid, not just our kid, is to walk in their authentic self, to actually be you and be you on purpose. You don't have to follow with everybody else, and sometimes it does get lonely. This is for me as a grown woman too. That sometimes it does get lonely. Sometimes you do feel isolated. Sometimes you do feel like, everybody else is doing this, and I don't have anybody else to do this or anybody else to do that. So just tell us about like that feeling of being lonely, and how can you put it to good use?
Well, sometimes it kind of feels like sad, but like I know I'm not meant to be around a whole bunch of people and like give well, let me rephrase that. I know that I'm supposed to be used more than just being that person that you can just call and cry or vent to and stuff like that. But it feels good to help people, but at the same time, when they are not, helping you when you need help, it's just doesn't feel too good.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what those are? I feel like I call those conditional friends. You never want a friend, and it's good that y'all are young people. Y'all young people, y'all noticing it's young because think about being 30, 40, 50, and 60, and then you get to a point to where you or one-sided relationships. And one-sided relationships are only people that use you, but when it's time for you to talk, they don't want to hear anything you got to say. You know how many people that I have been around? How that's right, evangelist. Fair weather friends. It's always temporarily. It's always when it's convenient for them. It's always when it's okay for them. And do you understand the importance of um I want
Repeat that, please.
I want to be able to ask you a question, even about what Jaylen was talking about. How do you deal with the feelings of feeling lonely as a young person, but as a young person that's actually understanding that you can't be with everybody, and some people will lead you farther away into the bad place versus with the good, because our surroundings do matter.
Yes, ma'am. A reason feeling lonely, it feel like you're being stuck, and it's like just darkness around you. I feel like when I'm lonely, I get to like a bad attitude and wanted to be by myself and want to yell at everybody and stuff. But sometimes like I have to realize that sometimes God might separate us from people for we can see things and stuff, or put us into isolation for we can have, better, just to find better surroundings for us and stuff. And personally, I feel like God is putting me currently in a isolating place and stuff. So
But tell us, because surely um isolation is also sometimes for our own protection. I do believe that there's sometimes that God literally cuts us off from people, and this is for other young people too. He literally cuts us off from people because He sees what we can't see before we get there. And I'm telling you, it used to make me so mad sometimes, but now I understand that just like your parent, God is our Father, and He our Father. But when He looks at us, He actually sees what we cannot see. So sometimes we might think people are good and people have our best interests, but in actuality, they really don't have your best interests. And I'm just a firm believer, and I appreciate y'all so much for being honest. I want y'all to be so honest because I always tell people our honesty is what helps other people. And if we want to help other people, us being truthful, but us being honest is really, really what begins to break the ice. So, and I'm just here to tell y'all that surely the isolation, yeah, is uniqueness. Evangelist said it, uniqueness requires isolation. Yes, it does. For God to be able to mold us into who He sees us into the people that He see you to as being versus the people we see ourselves. So we have so many things that we want to do. We have so many things that we want to accomplish, but sometimes, and an apostle says, sometimes God has to separate us to protect. Yeah, he really does. And he really, really does. And maybe as young people, y'all might not really understand that, but I guarantee you, live a couple of more years and you will see the bigger picture, like, oh wow, this is what happened. That's what happened. And have so I want to talk about too about peer pressures. Have y'all ever been into a situation where y'all felt like it was peer pressure in causing y'all to be the way that they wanted you to be versus you realize, nah, that's not really how I want to be? Anybody, any one of y'all can.
I have one for like when I was beefing with this girl at school. Everybody wanted us to fight. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little mad too, and I was telling my little sweet on her and stuff too. But I feel like it made it worse when I had all kind of peers around me trying to pressure me up to go hit the girl. Like she wouldn't even do nothing to me one day. They'd be like, "You should go swing on her," and I'm just like my cousin. I'm glad that Jaylen was there to be the light in the situation because if I didn't have nobody around me, I probably would have went and swung on the girl out of anger. But Jaylen was the light. It was telling me that it's not worth it and it's just the devil trying to get me riled up at the things that was already going on.
Oh,
so peer pressure, it just sometimes it be overwhelming. Like one day I came home and I cried because of that, and my mom had to call a apostle and stuff, and it gets overwhelming.
Yeah. Surely it does. I'm the one to say, but I might have. I know that I have been in some situations that was instigated, but I have been guilty of being the kid that instigated some situations. So I understand it on both sides. All I'm saying is, yeah, I understand it, but thank God that you had your cousin there to be able to say, you know what, cuz I don't even want you to get in trouble. You got a perfect good record. This is gonna go down on your record, and this is gonna stop you from doing a lot of things futurely. Well, we know God can come in and do anything, but sometimes people wants to push us into the things outside of who we are. I learned it, that people want to see conflict and drama more than they ever want to see good stuff. So that's why I always tell y'all, and y'all know for a fact, is that no matter what you do, always be your authentic self. Because for a long time, I wasn't even my authentic self. Yeah, I was in a lot in the midst of stuff. I guess that's why when I talk to y'all as young people, I talk to y'all from what I wish somebody would have said to me as a 15-year-old child too. I don't try to talk to y'all as I'm so high up here and I done overcame everything. No, I experienced some things, and the things that I experienced caused me to fall into the trap of peer pressure even itself. Because if you got everybody around you doing the same thing, then you know it could be easily go into it. But like I said, thank God you didn't even go that way because niece, it don't even be worth it. You think it is at that moment and at that time, but in actuality, it does not even be worth it. Is there something, Jaylen, that you experienced that you felt like it was peer pressure and somebody pushed you into something? Because what we trying to do is, and what we want to talk about is we giving the young people, Jaylen and Saniya, the floor to be able to talk about some of the things that sometimes us as adults bypass over young people. And young people, they really have something to say. They really want something to say, and they really, really have a desire for people to be truthful and for people to be honest about what's going on and the feelings that they feeling. So I never wanted to be able to, y'all know, we be talking about all kind of stuff. I want to keep the door open because my mama and daddy was the mama and daddy like, hey, don't do this. That's what I said. but they never told you why don't do that. So if you don't tell me why don't do that, then you left this whole room. Yes, they do. It's a need for the young people to be heard. So very much. It is a. But Jaylen, I want you to tell me, is there something that you experienced, something that comes across your mind that was peer pressure that they wanted to put you into, um doing something that they want you to do versus you knew the right thing?
Um, Something that comes up to mind is when I was in middle school. Um, I'll be hanging out with these group of people, and they would have like vapes and stuff like that on them, and they was like, "Come on, hit this, hit this. It's not gonna hurt," like just repeatedly saying it. Like I'm gonna say no a couple of times, but if you keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep pressuring me to do it, then I was like, fine, I'll take it, and I hit it, and I didn't really like it, to be honest with you, but I just did it just to.
Oh.
But I just did it to please them, though.
Yeah, so it was just come on, do it. You come on, bro, just try it. It's good. It ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna kill you. But in actuality, it's their own ignorance that's speaking that. And surely I could tell my story because y'all probably already know because I do share. I try not to share too much, but I do share enough with y'all that y'all understand that I once was a young person too. And I'm telling you, I'm very, very mindful of young people, and we have to be so mindful of young people because sometimes they don't want to come to us if we're always the Bible says it. Yes, give me God, but at the same time, give me understanding that you begin to understand who I am as a person, and it does. It plays a very very part in how they molded and how they shape. And I like to just leave an open door to be able. Now, if you say too much, now I'm gonna have to go when we get talking and go to the Lord on that. Now I'm gonna have to go to the Lord on that. But I'm mindful of, I remember one time, and I wanted to share this. It was one time a young lady. She was telling me, she was like, "I want you to talk to my daughter, but I want you to talk to my daughter. But when you talk to her, I want you to come back to me and tell me what all she's saying." I'm like, I wouldn't even do that because I feel like if it's detrimental to them, then yeah, I'm gonna come back and tell you, this is so on. So if somebody need to go to jail, then yeah, I'm gonna come back and tell you. But to violate the privacy between me and that person, now that's one thing I did not want to do. And I did not want to do. No, not that. I know how to go to the Lord. We calling that angels and I done got to laugh in the spirit. We call them the angels and everything. Okay. So both of y'all have faced in this time and in this generation peer pressures. Can you tell me how do y'all feel even about bullying? Because we want to talk about bullying. And we want to talk about bullying. How have y'all experienced a time to where the bullying became so much because I'm gonna start with this first. I remember I'm gonna start with this. I'm not trying to tell this story. I'm gonna let him tell it. I'm gonna let him tell it. But a couple of years ago, I remember used to be a young man that used to bully him all the time. He used to bully all the kids all the time. Yes, they do. They need someone that they can talk to. Yes, Auntie Outlaw. Yes, they need someone they can talk to. But it used to be a young man that used to bully all the kids all the time. And y'all, I was the parent. Well, okay, yeah, I was violent. Yeah, a lot of times we got into fights as kids. I mean, we got into a lot of fights as kids. And when I say a lot of fights, I mean a lot of fights just as little kids. Like we was in a neighborhood where, you had to fight or shut up. I mean, you gotta fight. So it used to so I was always talk against, being violent or responding in a negative way, or responding back to him in a bad way. But this one little boy, well, two little boys, they used to bully the kids all the time, bully the kids all the time. To one day, ding, 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 a light bulb went off. I feel like it was a God that was telling me, you know what? My son is not even scared of the kids. He's scared of me. Because I'm telling him, no, you better not fight. You better not. If I hear anything, I'm telling him not to fight, or not even the fight, but not the stand up against the bully. To one day, I was listening to D.L. Hughley, and he was on the radio, and he was just saying that sometimes the only thing you got to do is turn around to a bully and say something to him, because the thing that they don't understand is when you don't say nothing and you don't fight back, they put it as in fear. And he was like, tell your child to turn around to him and say, what's your problem with me? Why do you have a problem with me? Y'all, I told Jaylen that as a kid, and I was like, the next time he say something to you, you better say something back to him, or you're gonna have to deal with me. And I tell y'all, he had said something back to the young man, and the young man came running down to my house, knocking on the door. Ma'am, Jaylen trying to bully me, but I don't watch you bully the kids and bully the kids, bully the kids. But when I told him not to say nothing, not to take up for himself, you begin to taunt him even more. But the moment that he begin to stand up for himself, then you begin to pull back. You don't more bully. And I just was reminded that sometimes, yeah, we do tell the kids. Now, I don't want my kid to be bullying nobody, because he know that's a no completely. So I just wanted to get that out. So Jaylen, so now we're gonna start with Saniya, then we're gonna come to you, Jaylen. Tell me, what was the experience that you had that it was bullying that was going on, and you literally just not even the spread violence, because I don't believe in spread violence amongst the kids, but you literally had to or stand up for yourself or walk away.
Can I tell a story about somebody that was getting bullied in the classroom and I stand up for them?
Yes, you can. That's good. Yes, you can.
So this dude named Jamal, he was in my earth science class, and he had a disability. Like, one of his legs was shorter than the other legs. And people in the class will always try to bully him and make fun of how he walked. And I had to tell people, like, he can't help that he was born like that and stuff. And it made him, he wanted to say crazy thoughts. Like, he was saying he was going to shoot the school up, and he hate everybody, and everybody makes him want to go kill himself because of them bullying his disability. And it got so bad to the point that his mama had to come to the school, and the mama showed out, tried to fight the principal. But
Oh, wow.
I had to stand up for him because he can't help that. He can't help that he got a disability. So I just feel like people bully just to make their insecurities feel better.
Oh, wow. That's good right there, niece. I do believe that they do bully of their insecurities. And some people bully because that's what they see sometimes even in their household. And sometimes that's what they experience. So sometimes what they experience when they bully is how they're experiencing it too. Because you got some people they're not bullies. But yet when they get bullied so much, they begin to turn around and they begin to be the bully. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, that's good. That was really, really good. Especially their insecurities is what caused them to actually, you know, begin to speak ill will or evil to somebody else, because I'm just so you just it was so good that you pointed that out, because that is a thing that I do believe. And that's even with adults sometimes. Even with adults sometimes, like your own securities cause you to treat people in an improper, in an unmanageable way, when in actuality is really not that serious. It's just because you have something going on the inside of you that causes you to be in conflict with other people. Oh, that's good. I love their insecurities. Yes,
Can I add
ma'am.
on real quick? I also had a friend, like, back in ninth grade, who was really insecure about herself. So I was in a toxic friend group in ninth grade, and she would stay spending out her insecurities on us because she felt that way about herself, and it was really draining. And I'm glad that God, even though I was like lonely for the end of ninth grade year, I'm glad that God removed me out of that because it could have been worse than what it was.
Yes, oh yes, moving you out of, and God moves us out too, so He can be able to use our voice in a untainted way. And because I do feel like the young people, y'all have so much, y'all really do have so much wisdom, and y'all have so much to say. And as two young people before us, that have been protected so much from actually getting to situations that could cause you to be in jail, or cause you to be um, cause you to be on the wrong path. It's just that some things can be so simply to cause you to go to the other way. And thank God from the what you just said, moving you away from toxic people. Because I'm telling you, there's toxic kids too. Because I think I was a toxic kid, y'all. I'm just telling the truth. I ran into the people that are, everybody was not bad. It was just that when you got broken people and you got people that are hurting, that are hurting and they are misunderstood, you begin to kind of build up with each other. You begin to cling to each other, and sometimes what comes out is toxicity, and it begins to go around. You project that off on other people, and you talk and you say this, and you talk and you say that, but thank God that He removed you around from the people, because surely I know there was some gossips too. Because in toxicity, gossip, I'm telling you, I've been there. I've been with some gossips that when I had to get delivered from gossip, and get delivered from gossiping, get delivered from talking about people, get delivered from hurting people with my words, y'all. That was the one of the first things that and we'll get into that a little bit more later. Okay, so Jaylen, tell us about a bullying situation or something that happened that, yes, Apostle, hurt people. And you know what? I used to be so conflicted with that all the time. Hurt people, but it's true. When you hurt and you're hurt and you feel unheard, and you feel like, yes, words can be lethal. You know, I learned that at a later age in life, to where God was talking to me about, you know how people be like, I know y'all know that people be like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And they repeat that over and over and over again, until where you actually honestly believe that. But I have the understanding that words can literally suck the life right out of you. It's what people speak over our heads that begin to cause us to be one thing or another thing. It's what you say and what you don't say. And yes, it really is. It's what you say and what you don't say. And yeah, the words are very detrimental. And I thank God that He began to show me in my words, because I'm gonna tell y'all this story, and then we're gonna get into Jaylen bullying, because I'm trying to engage into a whole conversation. I remember one time, well, I went to the altar a lot when I first got saved. I go to the altar, I be crying. Oh Lord Jesus, crying and crying and crying and crying. The kids witness it. They probably see Auntie at the altar again. They probably, yeah. I was at the altar and I was crying until this one day. Woo, when I say the Lord checked me, and the Lord literally checked me. He said, daughter, you see these words that you crying over? Now, what was the words that was spoken out of your mouth? Now, what I need you to do is curse every single word that was spoken out of your mouth, uproot them, so it don't take root in the next person, that it don't take root into them. Because there's some stuff that we say that it begins to take root into people. And so that's why I'm mindful, because I'm crying over the words that was spoken over me, but the same words, because go back to what Apostle just said, hurt people hurt people. So what did I do? I hurt people with my mouth, and I hurt people with my words. And sometimes it's People be like, oh, you come from a strong line of strong people. Oh, it's just strong women. It's just strong men. They just gonna say what they. But God doesn't want us to say things that begin to tear down other people. He don't want us to say things that begin to destroy people's character. I'm telling you, God dealt with me so severely about the words that I used that day. But I guarantee you, the one thing that happened is I I was crying so bad, y'all, and I was crying so bad. But when he spoke that, them tears that I was crying, I had to dry them up because I was like, yeah, Lord, I did say this, and I did say that, and he took me over a process of words that I spoke out of my mouth that I literally had to pray on other people's behalf that probably would never know that I was praying on their behalf. But you know what happened? When I began to pray on their behalf of the words that I spoke that could have stuck to their soul, God began to start delivering me to the same words that were a hindrance to me over my head that had been spoken were being cursed at the root. Yes, generational curses, spirits that on so many sides, so many sides. So on so many sides, and surely, and let me just go into the even you saying that, evangelist. The one thing that God been teaching me about is about, well, we have the power to be able to stop those generational curses. So me and my niece was just talking about this the other day, that the generational curses is the things that begin to continue into the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And I was telling her that sometimes we experience things as kids so we can begin to start, when we come to a knowledge of what it is and when we get older, that we can begin to start actually cursing those things so it won't hit our next generation. We operate in a different way than we actually go towards the things. Because some people get afflicted, and when they get afflicted, they become that thing that afflicted them. And it begins to carry on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So Jaylen, we want to talk to you about your bullying experience. Tell us what was a bullying experience that you experienced or endured, and you got away from that and surely walked out unscathed.
About what was it? Like last year, I had this guy, big fella, bigger than me,
Mm-hmm.
like at least 3 times. I don't like to, make fun of anybody for their weight or anything like that, but yeah, he was bigger than me. But he would be like picking on me, saying like names to me and stuff like that. And I remember that he was telling the church that stuff like that, and the church was like, beat him up, because y'all know I'm not a fighter.
Mm-mm.
I'm a lover. I like to talk things down.
Yeah,
Like,
he be the
and
sensible one. See, he be sensible. I told him, son, use your mind. Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry, son.
it's okay. And they was like saying fight him and stuff like that, throw hands with him, but I don't do that. So I remember after church we went to McDonald's to get some tea. And he was working there, and my mom talked down, and she was like, well, young man, you be picking on my son and calling him names. Do you got problems with him? He was like, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like, why do you do that? I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. And well, ever since then, I haven't had a problem. Till then, he still be like, is your mom finna come to McDonald's and talk to me? Like,
Yeah. And reminded is the backstory of this young man. is a affiliated gang member. So I'm always mindful because I see what happens in the news all the time. And I'm so mindful of y'all, we have to be mindful of other people's children. I am so very, very serious about that. And that is something that I know a lot of people that I know are very, very mindful of. I'm mindful of other people's children because when I went to the McDonald's, and let me just tell you, that young man is the sweetest young man. I didn't know what my son was talking about for a minute. Huh? No, not him. He as sweet as pudding. That is my friend. That's my friend. He was like, well, mama, that's him. And I was just surprised that it was him because he is always a nice, respectful young man. Let me just say that he's a nice, respectful young man to me every time. And I was like, well, Lord, you give me the words to say because I don't never want to mistreat somebody else's child just because it's my child. And I'll be so serious about that because I remember people mistreating me as a kid, and I remember the feelings that I felt. It made me feel very lonely. You know, when people speak so much bad over you that when they speak it, I didn't even know that some of that stuff that they were speaking was wrong until I got older. And I was like, you know what, God? I don't think they should have said that to me. I don't think they should have been talking to me like that. I don't think that they should have had approached me like that. Whether you believe I'm wrong or I'm right, it's a way that you go about stuff with other people's children. And I'm sorry, just because it's mine, I didn't want to treat that young man any kind of way. But that's my friend. He was my friend. I didn't know he was bullying my son the whole time. I'm like, this is my friend. This is my friend. And I promise y'all, he's a sweet young man. Some of our children are just getting misguided because they believe that the people outside of their home are having gang affiliation is the way that they begin to find family and they begin to find love, or people that are accepted. So when it goes back to the hurt people, and then you begin to try to find the same people like you that have been afflicted in such a way, and we all draw to each other. And when we draw to each other, sometimes it can begin to cause toxic relationships, toxic friendships, toxic talk, toxic things that we do and we participate in with each other. So okay, so young people, y'all have a voice, y'all have things to say, y'all have can we I want to go back even to 2020. Because I've seen so many things happen in 2020. How was it the feeling? Tell us, how did y'all feel when 2020 hit and only thing y'all could do was be on your because we have to have some kind of relationships with people. We got to have some kind of communication with people. I'm a firm believer. I do believe that we do need people, and people, we need each other, but in healthy ways. I want y'all to talk about some of 2020, your experience that you had dealing with being isolated from your classmates by what was going on in the world. And we're gonna start with you, Naya.
Okay, when we had went on lockdown, at first it was all funny. Oh, 2 weeks of school, we not going to school and stuff. But like as it kept as on going online, kept on going on, I realized that it's just not just me. A lot of the teens, we got really lazy during that. We was not doing our work. Joining the classes, just be on our phones the whole time. Wasn't even learning and stuff. And I just feel like being on lockdown and stuff, it messed my social skills up, and it had me up being able to do good with my work. Because when we went back to school, we had to refresh in a lot of things because a lot of us was not learning online and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I guess it was kind of like, I've been doing this for the last years, and now you've taken me out of what's normal to me. So this is normal to me. This is what we're supposed to be doing, and it begins. So tell us that part happened. So tell us more struggles, into depths of how did you feel during that time of actually being isolated? Because like I said, we need each other to where we have to be into communication and relationships with other people to actually sometimes be able to grow.
It just made me feel lonely and stuff. I feel like I I disconnected from people too, being away from people, not talk to you in person and stuff. So it was like a different, like everybody's saying, you know, communicating over the phone's okay, but you gotta be sometimes in person with people to understand and keep the skills and stuff going. So
Yes, yes, yeah. And that's going from a every single day you in a normal routine, and then getting outside of your routine. And getting outside of your routine and the changes that Pastor April said sleeping during class. Yep, it was look, that's your nephew next. That's your nephew next. Because I didn't understand how you're late for class and you're right in your room. I never understood that.
they just say mama about me not being on the Google Meets.
Yes, y'all was right there, but it caused you to be y'all to be not motivated to, because it's kind of like, what's the purpose?
That's
So
why
tell us. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Naya. I'm sorry. I didn't go ahead, niece.
got me into the habit of being lazy when it came to schooling.
Yes. So tell me, okay, so how did you feel when you got back into it? Is it still awkward? Is it still so? Because a lot of people, a lot of children, and Jaylen will probably talk about it some himself, experienced some really, really dark days at that time, too. It was some really, really dark days at that time. So, Jaylen, what was your experience in 2020 when the shutdown happened and you were unable to be able to socialize with other people?
I was kind of lonely
Awesome.
and like depressed because, man.
Oh, sorry. Apostle said awesome, Naya.
I was kind of like lonely and depressed because like I was used to talking to people, flirting with girls, but I couldn't really do anything, and I was not gonna lie, I was failing all my classes because I was asleep most of the time, and it was just kind of weird because I'm used to I was at school a week ago, and then next week, no, I gotta stay home. Like that was like shocking to me, honestly.
So, what was the feelings when you was going through the depression? How tell us about that. We want to know. We want to know what our young people have to say. We want to know what our young people are experiencing. We don't want to bypass it. We don't want to look over it. We want to know. Tell us. Because it's a lot of young people that are suffering from depression. They are suffering from suicidal thoughts. They are suffering because we want to acknowledge that they have issues and something is going on.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. It did, Evangelist.
Well, it was during me being like a little like depressed and stuff like that for like not going out, it was like I wasn't really doing anything. Like I was just there. And speaking of like suicidal, one of my classmates from elementary school sadly committed suicide during COVID and the whole shutdown things. And he was like a smart kid, like a top student.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
remember
was
you
smart,
saying.
smart.
Yes.
And just seeing him pass away just like made me sad because like people are not talking to people, and I know that'll make me kind of sad, but I just feel like yeah.
Oh yeah.
And on top of losing him, we lost one of our church members, so I was kind of sad about that too.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. It was at that time it was so much that was going on and so much that was occurring. People was losing their lives, and I remember Jaylen had told me, he was like, but mama, he was so smart, he had his whole future ahead of him, he had so much stuff going on for himself, But it's just when sometimes the God will protect us from people and put us into an isolation and be able to mold us into His image. But then there's sometimes where the enemy begins to isolate us and he begins to move us from people so we can begin to start questioning ourselves and begin to doubt. And sometimes he can sit in our minds and he begins to increase the talking that he has when we are isolated and sometimes intentionally shut down from people. And the reason why I say this because I know from experience that when he has got me by myself and the enemy begins to talk to you, then he begins to tell you who you are, and every single thing that he tells you is always opposite of what God says. You'll never be nothing. You'll never amount to anybody, nothing. That's why people don't like you. That's why people don't want to be around you. He will literally cause you to second guess yourself, but it's when he begins to isolate you, because it's a way that God can isolate you to be able to protect you, but then there's a way that the enemy begins to isolate you as a child, as your mind is vulnerable. And at that time, a lot of people dealt with suicide, and it's because of the isolation. It's because of the voices that could be uplifted to you, the people that could encourage you. You don't have those people around you. So yes, the 2020 was a rough part. I've never seen that in my generation. Some people that's way older than me never seen that in their generation. And then we can say that we survived that moment, and we survived that time is an amazing thing to be able to say. And we thank God that for His protection and His covering in that time, because we love the people that we did lose, and we did lose some people during that time that have went on to be with the Lord. But depression is real, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell y'all this because my son, I see him struggling. Sometimes I fuss, and I had to catch myself to fussing because I was like, how you think you about to go to the skating ring? And you going to the skating ring and you ain't even passing your class. You ain't even passing your class. But I had to be reminded that I've never been through that. I've never been through that to where we were literally confined to our rooms. And I'm telling you, he would sit in the room even after getting out of class, literally all day. It begins to change the mood of all the children. All the children, their moods begin to change. And I literally had to be mindful of that, y'all, is that step back, because you're doing too much and you're talking too much. You realize your baby is going through something, and he's going through something, but the things that he's going through, he beginning to cut himself off in general. It was like literally, and this is parent after parent saying the exact same thing in the room, not coming out. I'm talking about after getting out of class. And I did. And I let him go ahead to the skating rink, and I stopped fussing. God forgive me. Because sometimes we could push our kids over the edge versus actually helping them. And that's the one thing as parents we got to be mindful of. Even I done had to be mindful. It's a lot of things that I had to repent for, even to both of the kids. I go back and I say these things because y'all, I'm telling you, it is so very, very important. The one thing I want to see is Naya be healthy and Jaylen be healthy. Naya is my niece. Jaylen is my son. It's not just them, it's other kids. I want to see them be healthy. I want to be able to speak the life into them that sometimes I felt like should have been spoken into me. But now you have the opportunity to be able to encourage. You have the opportunity to be able to uplift. You have the opportunity to tell them that they can accomplish and they can do everything that it is that they do. But we must say it out of love. It must be love behind it, because sometimes when we bypass the fact of love, it's you coming in one end going out the other, and coming in one end going out the other. And yeah, and sometimes we can't just, because I'm a sometimes. My son know, he'll tell you I'm my niece will tell you too. I get to showing out sometimes. It got to be wheeled back in. Shut up, they going through something. Pull back. And then sometimes I go full force, full throttle. I'm in there. In there. So yes, sir.
And during like COVID and stuff like that, I'm grateful for my cousin, because usually sometimes I would go over her house and we just talk to one another, and we
Yes.
have like cousin on cousin time basically.
Yeah.
They do, and y'all, I'll just be so extremely godly proud of that factor because one of my things is I always wanted them to be close as cousins and be able to count on each other because you're cousins. And I'll be, yeah, I ain't even gonna get emotional, so I'm gonna slide past that. I'm gonna slide past that because I don't want to get emotional. But I am very, very extremely proud of that fact that they can be able to count on each other in the midst of their apostle said, awesome job, Jay. And Miana said, Amen. Okay, so I am um so we just got finished talking about the experience that you had with depression. Have Naya, has there been any times where you experienced depression from one thing or another? And if you have, could you please share with us what was it that you kind of like shut yourself in and isolated yourself off? And what did you have to come to the realization if you did?
Something I get depressed with is like being lonely as a teen. And it's a lot, it's something that really bothers me. And it's just like when I get thinking about one thing, I think about other things, about my
Mhm.
dad. So when all these things coming at me, it's like I get stuck, and I try to like really like realize like, you know, it's a bigger picture behind what I'm feeling and my emotions and stuff. But sometimes it's hard to understand as young teenagers and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
because.
that stuff that helped me because I feel like I always tell my mom like I struggle with being alone. She always like being alone is okay, but in my eyes, being alone is not okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a struggle sometimes, and that's why we do have to be even mindful in those times when you are alone, that to make sure that who is the voice that's in there, because trust me and believe me, it's a voice that's in there when you're alone. It's the voice of God or it's the voice of the devil. It's either or. And if he's speaking to you, trust me and believe me, he wants to cause you to go deeper into a depression, because you know what happens when you go deeper into depression, those are suicidal thoughts come. And when that suicidal thoughts come, I learned this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. As I was really niece, as I was struggling with suicide, I learned that he, the enemy doesn't have the power to take my life. But what he did do was put the power in my own hands. That's what he thought he was doing. Put the power in my own hands because he will convince you that your life isn't worth living. And mine was different from that because I'm telling you, even from a young kid when I was y'all age, I struggled with depression and suicide. Never knew what it was. Never knew what it was. Didn't have a word for it. Didn't have a place to put it. But I struggled with it back and forth. I would just would always be a bit afraid of actually doing. I was a bit afraid of actually doing, but the thoughts came to my mind over. Thank God for who He is. But now those don't have a stronghold over me. Doesn't cause me to want to do stuff to myself that God never caused me to do. And I just know that when we're in those dark places, in the dark places, that is really when you only got two voices, and that's the enemy speaking, or is sometimes God can be speaking. Yes, yes, Naya.
and sometimes I notice that when you get into those ears, the devil really do be putting everything that even your
Mm-hmm.
pastor's up in your face. Oh, he really tried to throw it in your face and make you feel sad. And it gets sometimes to the point that instead of me listening to sad music that's like worldly, I have to put my gospel music on sometimes. And sit there and cry to the Lord.
Oh yeah.
So stop
It,
trying to get my own peace.
Yes, people actually believe that, and because I come from a background of we were musically inclined, so we listen to music for everything. I listen to music for everything. There was sometimes certain music that helped me be able to overcome certain things, or some music that make me feel sad. Even now, when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, the enemy will try to cause me to listen to sad music. Oh, no, I'm not gonna say the enemy. I be wanting to listen to sad music because I want to be in myself right then at that moment. I want to be in myself and I want to be sad. And I find that it begins to tremendously uh, move your mood into a bad place, because that's how it can get into your mind. That's how it can get into your soul. Is when it begins to repeat over and over and over again. And honestly, sadly to say, I don't want to listen to a music that's telling me to go out and murder people. Mm-mm. No, I don't want to listen to that at all. Um, One time, Jaylen was in there listening to the music, listening to the music, listen to. You can't listen to that. You can't listen to that music and believe that it don't have an effect on you, and it don't begin to change your. It don't begin to change your emotion. It literally will change your emotions on how you feel. And I remember it was one guy that I used to talk to like a long, long time ago, and he always used to talk about God all the time, and he used to talk about God all the time. And he began to start telling me that one of the things that he had to do was change what music he listened to. And he said that he would listen to this hardcore music, and he found himself listening to more gospel music or more uplifting music, and it began to change how his day even went. So yes, sometimes and I've been guilty of it. I get in there and be listening to my I wanna be baby. I get to that too. And then I get sad. I'm like, Lord, I ain't even got no boo, but I feel sad. Yep. And Evangelist said gospel music is therapeutic, and Apostle said some music is demonic. Even the sound of it can be. Yes, that's very, very true, Apostle. It's even it literally was in his earphones. And I was like, what you in here listening to? The earphones were literally, I can't even explain. It was corrupted. It was corrupted when I put his earphones on. And I just so happened to put the earphones on, but it was what he was listening to. It's the normal that you listen to. So if y'all got a young man, and the young man, the only thing he do is talking about um being depressed, being suicidal, talking about suicide is the young man, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Go ahead, niece. I'm sorry.
I had just to add on that too, because I know one time I got sad and I was like, I had put on some Rod Wave, and I'm like, why am I listening to him and he talking about killing himself? Got me over here looking so crazy, because I'm like, that's when I had to get in my mind that I need to go put on something that's going to be peaceful and that's not hyping up the emotions that I was
Yeah,
having.
to put you into a badder state than you're supposed to be in, or you should be in. And I'm so glad we're having this open conversation about everything, because even sometimes, even with certain gospel music, I'm tending to now stay away from, because I feel like a lot of it's either or it's gonna be one way or it's gonna be another way. Either or it's gonna bring you out of something, or either or it's gonna keep you stuck to something. And I feel like some music, even in gospel music, begins to keep you bound. It keeps you bound to an old way. It keeps you stuck to the old things versus actually being free. And I don't want to be. If I want to be free, I want to be free. If I want to be sound, I want to be sound. So I'm being mindful of even the music I let, even with gospel, come to my ears, because some of it is is I just don't feel like I gotta be doing all of this, and at the same time I'm worshiping the Lord and telling him how great he is. I'm not doing the bobbing, because I just believe what evangelist just said. Gospel music is supposed to be therapeutic. So if it's supposed to be therapeutic, it's supposed to release you from your pain and your agony, but it's not supposed to add on to it. So being mindful of even these. So, well, now we're talking about being mindful of even the music. So let's talk about even being mindful of our conversations. Can we hit on that? Tell us another thing about a conversation that, because I want to hear what do young people talk about? What I want to know, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all conversation, and how do y'all feel with it? And it's not to down one person, and it's not to say that they're not worthy, but how do you feel God gonna bust you aside? I remember that, Pastor April. Woo, God gonna bust you upside the head with a blessing, and it's a gospel song that was playing on the radio. And I tell you what, me and her laughed about that and laughed about it. I got out. I need you to bust me upside the let it fall on me, Lord. Let it fall on me, Lord. And it's giving you another way, giving you another outlet. It's the reason why we tell them in the way that we tell them, because literally there are so many voices that are speaking, and so many voices that are speaking that are leading our kids into the wrong direction. And again, it comes to the simple fact that those are those empty places, and you begin to draw into what accepts you. You will begin to draw into what loves you. And sometimes those things don't cause you to go down the right path. It causes you to go down the wrong path. And sometimes it could just be opportunity of somebody else. And it's but I want to talk about some of y'all. Tell me, what is it that we want to talk about, even about as young people, even dealing with y'all, like self-esteem or making you feel valuable, because as I can see so many things on TV now. I mean, we had some people, and we listened to some music. I listened to some music that was just raunchy. Back in my day, I'm just saying, back in my day. So it was so I guess one person had said, well, y'all talking about this music right here, but how can you say that about this music when y'all had this song right here, y'all was vibing to? Yeah, we surely was. But now when I look at it, Lord have mercy, I was let me stop, y'all. I'm trying to be serious. But yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. But when you know better, what you do? You do better. That's the answer. When you know better, you do better. So let's talk about the images that y'all see on TV. How does that make y'all feel as people that are walking into their authentic self, that people that are not wanting to go with the crowd, but going away from the crowd because going with the crowd doesn't make you unique. Going with the crowd doesn't make you authentic. Going with the crowd doesn't make you stand out into your true identity. So let's talk about some of the images that y'all see on TV, and what does it cause you to feel even about yourself, or some of the music that even when you're listening to, because that could be a part too, that how does it make you feel about yourself? Anyone? Jaylen.
I thought she was gonna go. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes like when you like listening to music, all you hear is like them talking about drugs, sex, and getting money, stuff like that. And sometimes you just don't want to hear all of that, and it like just paints an image in my head that I have to be doing that, or I have to go do that, but I have to have like the fancy cars and stuff like that. But like it doesn't really matter to me. A car is a car, no matter what. A house is a house. I don't have to have like jewelry on my neck, nothing like that, and stuff like that.
What made you get to the understanding that because I understand this fact, and I'm telling you, I had watched I watched some videos, and I was watching a rapper, y'all, and he was on there, and he was just talking, and he was like, well, only thing we do in rap music is tell lies. And I was like, oh my God, so he's telling the truth. They might have lived it, but now they don't live that. That's just something to keep you in bondage. It's just something to keep you stuck. It's something to keep you chasing after the next dollar, chasing after the next girl, or trying to get the next car or the next this and that. It's for us to keep us bound because they not bound to a certain degree no more, but they speak in bondage over us through their mouths and through the music that they release. And you said that it caused you to actually believe that you want these things or that you desire to have these things. So what makes you come to the realization that nah, that's not how I want to go. That's not how I want to do it. That's not how I want to live.
There was two people.
Mm-hmm.
There was you, and then there was my papa. Y'all told me that stuff ain't real.
Yep.
And when you see like millionaires, they don't have all this drip, all this fancy clothes or anything like that. Yeah, they may have like a Lamborghini, something like that, but like they don't really show off their wealth.
Mm-mm. Oh, rich people and wealthy people is not the same thing. I tell the kids this: rich people and wealthy people not the same. It's not the same thing. You can have riches and have riches, but wealth is at a whole different degree than that. And it's like you have an illusion that you got to have all of these things and all of these things. And then actually, I'm telling you, a rapper said this out of his own mouth. He said it is fake. It's not the truth, but our kids are listening to it and they're hearing it. So now you got kids that are 10, 13 years old. They want to be Bloods and they want to be Crips because this is what you're saying, but at the same time, this is not what you live. So it's an illusion to give you to make you stay at a place. Yeah, you want to buy their records because they talking about keeping you in bondage. They talking about keeping you into a place where you don't be able to develop who you are as a person. You don't be able to walk into your purpose as a young person. You're not able to walk into your purpose. So and seeing this all the time, it would probably cause you to be that. But I'm telling you, when the rappers say that, and this is a wealthy rapper, he said it's a lie. He was like, that's all we do is lie. It's for the people. It's not even for us. It's not what we choose to live. It's for the people. And I was like, it make you think, look, why is the people, why do they desire that? Why do they want that? Why is that so exciting versus actually getting a real job and actually working? And it's not to knock anybody, but it's just to point out the illusion that they're giving our kids, and they're making them believe that these are the things that they have to have. And also they're keeping kids at a place to where they feel as though they have to have these drugs to be able to cope because that's all they see. Yeah, Jaylen was first, then I'm gonna come to you now. You okay?
Some people want. I feel like some people want to be something that they're not, and when they hear all that, they want to be that, but they don't want to be that at the same time.
Yes, it's only because they hearing it and they seeing it, and that looks more better and flashy. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So it's a fight in between you to do the right thing and to do the wrong thing as young people. Yeah, because that's all you're seeing. Okay, that's good. That's a good point. That's a good point right there. Yeah, yes, Naya.
And somehow, it with the women's, sometimes it makes us insecure when we see all these women fixing their bodies up and how media try to put us women out to be. Like, even as me being a young adult, I have problems where dudes be like, oh, your butt's not big and stuff, or you're flat and stuff, because the media made an image out of that all of us women supposed to have big butts and big boobs and stuff. And it really takes off a negative effect on us females because it makes us feel bad about ourselves because we're like, why are we not built like this? I even asked God questions like, how people in my family all build up, but then it passed me and I'm the stick in the family. Like, it makes us change our image about stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's what sometimes it does. It calls. This is what happens. Is what you went back, what you said earlier about the insecurities. Their insecurities, they begin to insecurities because you live in a generation now where they tell you that it's okay to fix your body. It's okay to get some extra fluff back there in the back. It's okay to have a waist trainer and have a perfect body or a couple of image. Really too, really, cuz I'm not even fooling with you. Talking about I'm a bad body built too, cuz. I mean, I mean, that's how it makes you feel when you see that. But in actuality, everybody's body is not even made that way. Everybody's not made, but it does increases other people's insecurities. So they want to have what other people have. But the only thing that make me feel sad is that it's some women that are already beautifully built, already perfect in the way that they are, but yet they feel like they gotta enhance themselves. It made me sad because when DC Young Fly, which some of y'all may know, some of y'all might not know, but he is a comedian, and the mother of his children had went under the knife, and she had got surgery because they call it uh, a mommy a mommy. I can't. What's the word? Y'all, it's a
Tuck.
it's a tummy tuck, but it's like a mommy's. It's a mommy something, and it's for like people that have children that want to get tightened up and tucked and everything. But she died because of getting a plastic surgery, to where it's so many people that uplift it and tell you this is how you're supposed to be. Mommy makeover, that's what it is. Thank you, cuz. Mommy makeover, that's what it is. And she got it, and now she lost her life, and now it's 3 children that have not a good. And she seemed like a very, very great mother. I mean, she loved her kids tremendously. And I always looked at her videos and admire how she did. Yeah, yeah, that's where it stems from. And that's what stems from, boo, in your childhood, the having the insecurities of this or that or this or that, and what you don't have or what you do have. Yep, wanting to be something that you're not, Evangelist. That's what it is. It draws down to wanting to be something that you're not. In actuality, everybody don't have to have a big rump. I don't have a big rump. I mean, I'm not tightly, it's, but I guess it, yeah, it really it never does end well. And it was a couple of people that have passed that have been, a couple of people that have died underneath the knife, getting plastic surgery. So how does that make you feel, Naya? Have you ever thought, you have never thought in your mind like, maybe hold on, Jaylen, I'm gonna ask her this. Have you ever, so when you said that you feel as though the guys, guys used to tell me that all the time, all the times. They always tell you what you don't have, what you need. You need to add this extra. If you had this, I had I was talking to one of my friend girls, and she pointed out this she pointed out this very particular thing. I said, well, I had one ex-boyfriend. He always made me feel so he always told me how beautiful I was all the time, but he always told me, but if you had a big butt, ooh, you would be a dime. You would be a dime. I'm telling you, you're so pretty. And he would say, but if I had, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize that. Still, to my own ignorance, she was like, but that's still pushing up an insecurity, right? It's still him talking negative about you, right? Because he's saying, but if you had, you get what I'm saying? So when you see all the ladies, and a lot of the ladies are getting the bigger butts because you say you had an insecurity because a guy tell you, but it's a way to cause you to be insecure about yourself, right? So you have nothing ever crossed your mind about ever going under a knife, or if you, Naya?
Oh, my bad, my phone had glitched. But yes, ma'am, I have. Like, I don't know, I be telling my mom that I might get surgery when I'm older to get big butt stuff, but she always like, don't say stuff like that and stuff. So
But you see what the chances are that you can live through it, and the chances are that you can pass from it. And then some people get so addicted to it, to where they have so many surgeries, even on their face, that they are unrecognizable. Because it can be an addiction. It can be an addiction to fix the imperfections, but it would never be perfection, because it'll always still be an imperfection. So it'll always be something that you're always trying to fix, and always trying to fix, versus just learning to accept yourself as who God already made you.
yes, ma'am.
So yeah, always remember that you're beautiful just the way you are. Um, just the way you are. Don't have to have anything extra. Don't have to have, and it's only like literally 1% of women. So did you have something you wanted to say, Jay?
Yes, man. And I feel like some of the reasons why men think that women should have like big butts, big boobs, stuff like that, is because you see it on music videos all the time of
Mm-hmm.
them just shaking butt and stuff like that. But I'll take my women how they come. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'll take them how they come. I love all women, you know.
That water. Yeah, but some men, they want you to be a certain kind of way, and they begin to put your insecurities off on women that they wish this or they wish that, versus just accepting for yes, ma'am.
I okay. So I'm new to my school that I go to now this year, and I remember somebody was like, "You like this girl named Diamond, because you was pretty," but she was like, "Oh no, that's not her because Diamond had big butt and she don't." And I told my mom said that probably wasn't trying to call me ugly. It was just pointing out, but it made me feel bad about myself because like, why would you have to feel the need to say that? And then you said it clear enough that I could hear you behind saying that. So
It's a way to actually make you feel so insecure about yourself. That's a way. Um, there are always going to be things that you don't like about yourself, which I got things that I wish that would be different too, but I still love myself as who I am. But I do have some things that I wish could have been different, but that don't mean I'm finna go out and do anything that would cause me my life, because it literally has been, we don't want to maximize that, but it's been a lot of people that have lost their lives due to just minor surgeries like that, versus just do it the natural way. Just do it like going to the gym yourself. So we talked about the images that we see on the TV, that this is what they give us, this is what they tell us is okay. But so have you got to the point of just accepting yourself as you are, Naya? Because men don't more so. It's like y'all want the woman, but y'all don't really go in. If well, some men do go in and actually have. I've seen men that actually do have surgery. Like I've seen it.
um, it really don't. I feel like as we getting older, I have to realize that I have more growing to do, and
Mm,
stuff doesn't make me like at first it'd be like, dang, like that's kind of messed up. Like you see other girls with big booties and big jumps. Why I gotta give me none? But I mean, it's just yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess it's all on the TV. It's all the biggest celebrities that majority of the time they twerking and twerking and showing and revealing every single thing that they have to give. But in actuality, you don't have to. I don't remember the ladies that were our role models being so provocative or selling a spirit of perversion as much as y'all do with the young people that y'all have, because everything is about sex. Everything is about, yeah, it's like literally all about sex. So we wanna talk about that. What is since there's so much sex going on and there's so much of sex sales, how does this make, don't start blushing now. Don't, don't start blushing now. Because we want to talk about some real deal serious stuff. How is we want to talk about, how do y'all feel about sex happen to be the thing that sells, that oversells everywhere?
I feel like with the sex things, it gets a lot of us young people into different mindsets that's not even holy. I feel like a lot of mans these days, they only be wanting that, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to say all men, Jaylen, so don't try to be like, not me. But a lot of dudes, like even at a young age, I done had times that dudes will try to put my story and be like, say something that's really out of line and inappropriate, and it's just like, where's your respect? Because we see too much on the TV and the music by, how they getting girls and stuff by being freaky and stuff, and how she's delusional over him because he's giving good stuff out and stuff. So I feel like it is really ruining a lot of kids' mindsets and stuff.
Oh yeah, because the one thing about it is, honestly, to tell you the truth, now it's some. I think well, not I think my mom and daddy been together since they been teenagers, but majority of the time, ain't no young man thinking about marrying no woman at no 14 or 15 years old. They thinking about doing some other stuff. And this is actually what's happening. They thinking about tapping something, and the young ladies are thinking about giving something up. But in actuality, if that's all that it is, and it's not, it's like when you say no, it weeds a whole bunch of men out. I promise you. Take it from me. No, we's a whole bunch of not so good or great people, and I've been young too. I've been young too, to where me and my friend girl was just having a conversation. Actually, the me and my friend girl Adana was having a conversation, and we was talking, and I was just telling her that some of my experiences as a young person, but as a young person with a spirit of perversion that was open, and a spirit of perversion is just you do it. You just hot. You hot. You ready to have inappropriate relations. And y'all, me and the kids have these real deal serious conversations, and I do talk to them about these stuff. The parents are okay with me talking talking about these conversations. We have to have real honest conversations. I'm telling you, me and LaDonna was talking, and we was talking, and she was like, you know what? When I was young, my mom always told us this what can happen if you get pregnant. This is what can happen if you get pregnant. This is what can happen. She gave them the rundown. So by the time they had kids, they were well off into their ages versus being so young and not actually having it. But I'm sorry, I was leading somewhere. What did you say, Naya? I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't say nothing. You talking about what I did say?
Yeah, what you did say.
Oh, it was just about
About
like, say it again.
with the young men.
It gets a lot of it gets a lot of
Hold on. You remember y'all boots, the stereotypes in a couple of months ago, Apostle was preaching. Your Pastor A just put on your booty belongs to the Lord. I told him, I'm just telling you, your booty belongs to the. So it just lets us know that we can't be just giving out something that ain't even ours to give, to give out. That ain't even good. But excuse me, y'all. But all seriousness, while I'm being serious, it, I'm laughing, yo. She did. You know, you had to that there. Your booty belongs to the Lord. That stuck with the kids. I tell you what, we laugh. That stuck with them. Y'all know what it means. Keep your jewels and your things to Ooh, sorry, y'all, but it's a needed conversation. And like I said, I'm open about those areas and those things, because the one thing I'm mindful of is that with kids, you have to be so mindful, because I don't want to just say this and say that and say this and say that, and then it causes my son um, or my niece not to be able to come to me and share something that is deep, that they probably actually want to just get off their chest, or they actually want to be able to talk about. So I try to keep that open, um, to be able to have discussions and to be able to talk about that. And us as parents, we should always want to be open to that factor, because it really is important. Because I want to know. Let me know. I want to know. And me and my son done discussed a lot of things pertaining to that. And I just told him in the whole, even with my niece, that you got to be mindful of that, because a lot of these y'all young people, look at they laughing. Yep, Pastor had told me your booty belongs to the Lord.
All look like
Y'all was laughing. Y'all was laughing because we laughed so hard. I could not stop laughing. But the understanding is, don't just be giving it out to everybody, anybody, because you can get yourself into a situation that you don't want to be in. Babies come with that. STDs come with that. Me and the kids talks about everything. STDs come with that. Babies come with that. That's something that and is there something that y'all would want to tell other young people to be able to because like I said, we're young, your hormones have changed, and your hormones have changed to now you have desires that you probably didn't have when you was in elementary school, middle school, but now you have increasing desires. So y'all said I have opened with my kids about sex because my mom never talked to us about it, even though I don't think they. Yeah, See, our mama and daddy never talked to us about it because they just said don't do it. And then when you tell a kid don't do it, I'm a curious kid. That's why I got in a lot a lot of stuff, because I'm curious. Now you tell me not to do it, but now I want to see. But in actuality, it begins to open you into doors, and actually, if you just weed it out, you wouldn't have to even be bothered with it. So lead me into a door where literally you just don't want to go through some ways and some things. So young people, I have appreciated y'all being so open and so y'all being honest about these conversations, and we talked about it. Have there been any experience that you have had? I know Naya said, but Jaylen, let's talk about saying no to things. What?
Well, let me just say, if there's any young person here.
He did say, he told you no. Daddy said don't be rolling around in the sheets. But he never told us why not to roll around in the sheets, sis. Why not to roll around in the sheets? The things that can happen, I think some parents get uncomfortable. They don't be comfortable when it comes to sex and boys. What's it? Let's talk about. Oh, I'm sorry, son. I gave you a question. I'm sorry.
I would just like to say, if there's any young person that's like watching right now, honestly, it's not worth it to have sex young. I'm a living witness to that. There's nothing exciting about that. It's you get so excited to do it. Then once you do it, it's just like, I wish I waited. Honestly.
Yeah. And I guess you can't get that moment back once it's already there. You can't get that moment back. So yeah, can't get the moment back. Never to be able to get the moment back, and then it means less and less and less when it's not with somebody that you actually want to be with or that you actually love. So yeah, and y'all know at this age, y'all probably don't love how many people?
18, 20.
How many, niece?
About 18.
You said how what?
I just used that cast. I said about 18.
Well, you dated. Dated. That's dated, niece.
Oh, dated.
Yeah, dated. Dated. But okay, well, since y'all done talked about that, let's talk about your experience with dating then. We're gonna talk about that. What is your experience with dating different people? What is something that you be like, you know what, I might as well just. It is not the sense that, because of course y'all young people, like I said, y'all have things going on in y'all body that y'all are just learning. said Miata said boys don't like to talk to their mom about sex. Well, we have open discussions over here. It's necessary. And he probably have not wanted to talk to me about it, but I probably, son, nah, I try to keep it. I really do try to keep it open. But it might be some boys that don't. But hey, we got to see what's going on. But you're right. Some boys don't be out of. But I got to see what's going. I got to see what's going on. It's just to be mindful and never ever to be judgmental when they're sharing things. Because I promise you, be judgmental, kids will not come to you with anything else. They will shut down completely, because if they don't feel like we're listening, then what's the purpose of coming to you or telling you anything? Cannot be judgmental. Judgmental is a shutdown. And I remember in the it's a completely shut down. So I'm trying to think. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead now.
When parents be too fussy and stuff, we try to tell them something. That also makes a kid want to shut down and not say anything.
Oh yeah, that is true. And my son knows sometimes I got to pull back. I've been doing better, son, haven't I?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See kids, you see how kids would do you. So I have truly enjoyed our conversation. Is there anything else that y'all would like to talk about, or anything else that y'all would like to touch bases on? Because remember, it's people that's listening to your story, because we want to understand our next generation. I tell y'all all the time, y'all our next generation. I tell all kids, this is one thing that I believe. I don't care. We not just we got CEOs, we got doctors, we got lawyers, we got teachers, we got preachers, we got apostles, we got world-renowned leaders that are in our presence when we begin to talk to our next generation. I believe surely, for sure, that these are the things that we tell them. We don't just tell them that you only can see. Some people only tell the kids, if it's your gift, then that's your gift. But don't only just give our kids a limited of stuff. I always tell the kids, whatever you desire to be, and you put the work and the effort in, that is what you can be. You could be anything. But it's not. You can be if you want to be the next football player, you could be the next football player, the basketball player, the baseball player, the CEO, world-renowned CEOs, Forbes magazine owners. I mean, you can do all of that, and it's a shifting of telling the kids who they were not going to be, what they never accomplished, and what they can't do. Because even as myself, as I was a kid, I was always told that I was bad, and I do this and I do that and I did that, and there was a lot of times I was very, very rudely, because you already done told me that this is what I am, so you don't get anything more than this thing that you expect me to be. So I don't tell the kids they bad. I have not told the kids that they are bad. That's one thing I don't do. Now. Hey, every now and then I get the check, but I try to make sure that the words are. But I do make sure the kids know that you could be anything in the world. And I remember when my niece was younger, and I don't know if you remember this now, but I always used to tell you all the time, because I'm a brown-skinned girl and you're a brown-skinned girl, but I know what it felt like for nobody to ever tell me that I was beautiful. But I always used to tell you, your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am. With the old house?
Yes. And it was a reason why I was saying it, because I wanted you to know, because I'm a brown skinned girl, and sometimes that people believe the darker your skin is, the more less attractive that you are, but it's not true. So you have had an experience, Naya. Did you have an experience? Because I see you shaking your head.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if y'all remember, but in 9th grade, I had a girl I used to hang around, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to be your skin tone." I'm looking about crazy because we about the same skin.
Yep.
And it made me feel bad about myself because of my skin tone. And because a lot of people they like to praise light-skinned women. And
Mm-hmm.
she was one of those, so she tried to feel bad about my skin tone since I was darker than her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of times that that is an issue, that is a problem, that it goes back to what you said earlier. It's other people's insecurities that when they have an insecurity, it's pushed over to you because sometimes it is one is better than another. But I'm a brown skinned girl, like I said. I know my niece is a brown skinned girl, and I always told her that. And that was just something that I always said, and people probably didn't even understand, but I know what it feels like to not be valued just as a young lady. Just because of my skin tone was darker. And I probably the kids probably already know, my sisters already know I was always called the ugly sister. Because of course my sisters are beautiful, which they are, because beautiful just runs in my family like that. Yes, it does. Boom. I'm just saying. Yeah, so yeah, it was just the simple fact that just making sure that they're reassured of, hey, is there anything else that, because we're gonna wind on down, is there anything else that y'all would want to leave with the young people to tell? Because surely we having this conversation now, and we will have these future conversations, but I want y'all to know that whatever you desire to do and whatever you desire to be, and whatever it is, and you begin to put it at the feet of Jesus, and you begin to let him have control, and you begin to let him have total control of it, you can do anything in this world. Y'all know that your auntie really believed it for you. I really believe that for you. And whatever it is, there's no limit. There's no limit to the things that you can do and the things that you can achieve. Like I said again, y'all, we are speaking to our next generation. We are speaking to the next generation. We are speaking life into the kids. We are telling them what they can be and what they can accomplish and the things that they can overcome in this life. As you can see that they overcome it even as young people, and they're seeing all of these things, and they're seeing the images, and they're seeing the things, and they're having peer pressure that's coming their way, and sometimes depression tries to come their way, but we can see that they are overcoming a thing. And Evangelist Cheek said, I have enjoyed this. Keep up the good work. Amen. Thank you so much. I tell you what, these kids right here, I truly am just so honored to be able to be even in their presence, because surely for young people to have to be the people that stand out, that be able to be the difference, because I didn't have the ability at their age to be able to make the decisions that they are making, and to be able to speak life into other people. I had people that I love, but it was hard for me to be able to speak life because I was so broken. And surely I know each of them, which we'll talk about that on a later date, that has places in them that have been troubled, or places that are broken. And surely I know that it's an issue and a trouble, but I promise you, for everybody, y'all, I'm just saying that, and I know it's hard because I have done some things as a parent to not be able to. I have done things as a parent, as a young parent, that will. I was so broken. I was so broken that it was hard for me to do certain things. And I want to leave y'all with this one thing, and I want the kids to speak, and then we're gonna close out tonight. But we again, we truly, surely, we thank you all. Hey, Mika! Hey! But truly, we thank every single one of y'all for tuning in tonight and listening to what the young people have to say. And surely this won't be the last time that we have this conversation, because we got to go even deeper next time. Y'all hear that? We got to go even deeper next time. In the name of Jesus, okay? So, okay. I was about to tell y'all something good, and it just slipped my mind. But it just slipped my mind because I done got all excited again. Yeah. Okay. So Saniya, Jaylen, is there anything that you want to say? Even if you want to be able to encourage somebody, Naya, you can start, and then Jaylen, you can finish, and then we're gonna be soaring on out of here.
One thing I just want to say to young people that don't let things around you or let things that you watch and stuff lead you down the wrong path.
Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Jaylen, now you just told us that do not let things begin to lead you down the wrong path or begin to cause you to sway away when you want to go straight. Because remember we talked about peer pressure. Hey, I call you Aunt Bird. Hey, Aunt Bird. Hey, y'all. Well, to God be the glory. Surely, I love to talk to the kids and be honest with the kids because I was once a young lady, y'all. So, son, is there something else that you want to say to be able to encourage the young people? Speak to their hearts, speak to their souls.
One thing I wanted to say was, don't let other people talk you into doing things you don't want to do, and don't let other people lead you down the wrong path.
Yes. Yes, you see right there, y'all. All in the whole context is when you know the right thing, do the right thing. And sometimes if you slip up, get back up and keep on going. Because sometimes it is hard to be who you are and to be young people. Because, like I said, y'all have so much more before y'all. So, and one person had pointed this out before. So y'all sometimes y'all go to school and y'all bully even at school. So y'all bullied at school to even when you get home, y'all still have it because y'all have Facebook and y'all have Instagram to where it's a revolving 24 hours where people begin to talk down to you versus having an inspiration to where we went to school and yes, Jaylen, we didn't have
And
the
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, son.
And speaking of Instagram, speaking of social media and stuff like that, I like to also say, don't post anything that you will regret later. All right. Hey.
True. I'm telling you because you know what they always say. Once you put it on the internet, you might think you deleted it, but it will always be there. And another thing too that we didn't even get to point out, we should have had talked about this because I thought about it now. Y'all, lady, men's and young ladies, please don't send nobody no nudes. Do not send nobody no news of you. Don't do it. Don't do it because these people will use it against you and use it against you, and then that could count. Don't send it. If a young man is asking you to send them anything improper, if a young lady is asking you to send them anything improper, do not send out news, please. Now, if you're grown, you're grown. But if you're a kid, please, with grown folks, don't do it either because they been leaking stuff. They be leaking stuff. I'm just saying, son, what did you laugh? What did you laughing for? I hope you ain't send out nothing. See, you gonna make them end on the wrong. I'm trying to be serious. Y'all gonna make me end out on the wrong tip. Okay, y'all. Again, thank y'all. Tonight we talked with the children. We talked to our next generation. They talked about some things and they talked about areas that are an issue and a problem. And if you heard anything, and if you listen to anything, and if you have young kids and you have young people, to be able to be mindful, to never be in a place of judgment, to never be in a place of just tearing them down and tearing them down and not speaking life. So if you have something to say, tell them in the best way to tell them. But at the same time, y'all do speak life. And again, thank y'all for tuning in to Soaring Above It All. And y'all know I gotta go out on my intro. And Okay, even our kids can teach us and inspire us. Thanks, Naya and Jay. That was from Minyata. Yes, you are so right, Minyata. And Melissa, Jaylen, you remember Melissa? Melissa said, "I love this. Jay is a grown man now." I know, girl. He 18. We made it. We made it. Lord Jesus. Hey, I think my work would be a little bit more easy. That's all I'm saying. And thank you, Diane Booth said awesome. So we thank y'all. Thank you, Naya, for being honest. Auntie said awesome. Thank you, Jaylen, for being honest. Thank y'all for coming on. I really, really enjoyed y'all. And I'm telling you, this is not gonna be our last conversation. We coming on here again, and talk about some more stuff. And like I said, y'all better get ready. We going deeper and deeper.
Yes.
We going deeper and deeper. And again, y'all, I'm finna go to my outro, and it's a soaring above it all, soaring above it all. Yes, you are. Bye, y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll see you next month. Y'all don't want to miss us. Y'all don't want to miss us. Bye. Love y'all.